There's a rumor going around. If you like this video and subscribe, you can tap into the Dragon Force. Hi guys, this is the next part of What If Itachi Uchiha Was Reincarnated in the World of Fairy Tail. I hope you enjoy. After a trial with the Magic Council, Master Makarov was now sitting on a bench with one of his old friends who happens to be a member of the Magic Council. Phantom Lord being disbanded and Jose being stripped of his title as a wizard saint, that much I had expected. But Fairy Tail being found innocent was the last thing I imagined. Makarov said, "You should be grateful, Maki. I spoke in your defense." The old man, who was just as short as Makarov, said. He had thick light brown eyebrows with a small toothbrush mustache. He was wearing a brown long-sleeve shirt with black vertical stripes and a black three-spiked hat. His name is Ujima. I owe you one, Yaj. You should come visit once our guild is repaired. I'll treat you to some ramen. Makarov offered his old friend. I'd like fairy ramen with 12 slices of roast pork. Ujima said. 12? That's way too many. Makarov complained. This was a violation of Article 4 of the Inter-Guild Conflict Ban Treaty, Ujima pointed out. Fine. You can have 20 slices. 30. Makarov said. 12 will do just fine. Ujima said. The mood then changed into being more serious. Maki, you can't be so reckless anymore. We're not as young as we used to be. You haven't forgotten, have you? Forgotten what? Makarov asked. About Rob. Ujima replied. Rob? Huh, Makarov said, now with a sad tone and expression at the memory of his dead friend. There was me, you, and even Perliuzica. Not to mention Rob. We were all so young. We were reckless, but every day was a delight, too. Ujima said as memories of their past flushed through their minds. But then Rob left Fairy Tail and wound up. Urza still tells me about it sometimes. And even Itachi. Makarov said. Many feel that Fairy Tail is too out of control these days. Michello and Org are actually calling for it to be disbanded. If this keeps up, you will be harshly punished eventually, Maki. You won't be any good to anyone if you die. Just like with Rob. Maki, you need to retire soon. You can't keep this up for much longer. Ujima said, worried about Makarov's future. Back at the workplace for the new guild hall. Everyone, we're taking job requests again starting today. This reception counter is only temporary, but let's do lots and lots of work. Mira announced, to which everyone cheered and most people headed towards the request board. What's the deal? Everyone usually just sits around doing nothing, Lucy said as she looked at how everyone was so worked up. And Mira chuckled at Lucy's comment. Come to think of it, is Loki here? Oh, have you finally fallen into Loki's clutches too? Mira teased. It's not like that. He was the one who found my keys, so I wanted to thank him. Lucy said. Sure, I'll tell him if I see him. Did the celestial spirits get mad at you for dropping their keys, though? Mira questioned. Lucy let out a nervous chuckle as the memory of the beating from a certain blue-haired mermaid water spirit came to mind. Mad doesn't begin to describe it. My butt stings just thinking about it. Oh, my, Mira chuckled nervously. Want me to cool it for you? Gray asked as his hand let out a cold energy. That's casual sexual harassment, Lucy replied to the ice mage. Let me see your red butt, Lucy. The little blue cat known as Happy said. That's unadulterated sexual harassment, Lucy said. Natsu then appeared with his hand covered in flames. I wonder what look she'd give if I made it sting even more. Natsu said with a devilish smirk. What are you, the devil? Lucy shouted when Natsu was hit by a barrel that came flying out of nowhere. Try saying that again. Urza's voice was heard, making everyone turn their attention to her. Urza, Lucy and Gray questioned in unison when they saw her angry expression. Since I'm here, let me make things nice and clear. Weaklings don't belong to this guild. The man who Urza was talking to was none other than Laxus. Man, you guys are pathetic, letting Phantom make a mockery of you. Laxus said as he turned towards Jet and Droy. Actually, I don't even know your names. Laxus said, then turned towards Lucy. And you, rich celestial wizard girl. You were the main culprit. It was your fault that. Laxus. Mira shouted in anger. It's all over now. No one's playing the blame game. The master says we're not even allowed to blame you for refusing to help us. Well, of course you're not. It was none of my business. Doesn't matter if I was here when it happened anyway. After all, Itachi came to your rescue. Laxus said. Why you? Urza said, ready to punch Laxus in the face. All right, that's it. Natsu charged at Laxus. Natsu. Urza shouted. Natsu was about to deliver a punch when Laxus vanished in a flash of lightning and appeared behind Natsu. Laxus. Fight me, you heartless bastard. Natsu shouted, clenching his fist. Laxus let out a mocking chuckle. How do you expect to fight me if you can't even catch me? Once I inherit the guild, I'm kicking every last wimp out. And everyone who tries to stand up to me. I'm going to create the most powerful guild. The most powerful guild in history. No one will be able to mock it. Laxus shouted when he suddenly felt a piece of sharp metal pressed against his neck. Who says you will become the next master? Itachi questioned, having appeared behind Laxus without anyone noticing. Oh, you're a sneaky one like always. Laxus said, and then vanished with his high speed and appeared behind Itachi with his arm raised, engulfed in lightning. When Laxus brought his fist down, Itachi caught it with one hand, as a small crater was made from the pressure. Laxus let out a chuckle. Nice to see that you're as strong as ever, my rival. I see that you have improved as well, but you're still nowhere near my level. Itachi mocked with an emotionless expression. What was that? I'm nowhere near your level, huh? Well, here's some facts for ya, pal. You, me and Mistogen are candidates for the strongest members of our guild. Laxus said. We both know that we're not the strongest, or have you forgotten guild arts? Itachi asked. We both know that old geezer is not coming back. So the title is between you, me and Mistogen. Laxus said. I think you're forgetting to add Urza on that list. Itachi pointed out. She may be your little sister, but you're still not related by blood. Meaning she doesn't have any of your strength. Laxus retorted and delivered a punch with his fist sparking full of lightning. But Itachi vanished from the spot and appeared behind Laxus. You're underestimating her. Besides, blood ties doesn't matter one bit. Itachi said. From what I hear, you come from a long powerful line of people. Meaning you have a powerful bloodline just like me. Laxus said. Just because some people are lucky with who they are related to, doesn't mean that people who don't come from an important bloodline can't become just as powerful. Itachi argued. Hey, think what you want, but I don't see anyone like that here. Laxus said with an evil grin before vanishing in a flash of lightning. Itachi then went over to the other at the bar counter. Inherit? What kind of crazy talk is that? Lucy said. Actually, it isn't crazy. Laxus is our master's grandson, you see. Mira revealed. Wah? Lucy questioned in shock. So it's very likely Laxus will be the next master when he retires. Mira explained. Why, you can't be serious, but I don't like the idea of someone being our master when he treats his fellow members that way, Lucy said. They say that's why our master is having a hard time retiring, although the master did offer Itachi to become the next master once, but Itachi's words were, Mira said. It would be too much of a bother. Itachi said and sat down at the bar counter. I'm not suited to be the master. Are you kidding? You're smart, powerful, kind and friendly, you're perfect. Mira argued. I still have no interest in becoming the next master. Itachi said. It doesn't matter anyway, I'm dying after all. Itachi thought. That jerk. Natsu cursed, clenching his fist in anger at Laxus's behavior. That's enough. You'll only tire yourself out dealing with him. Anyway, what do you say? Feel up to a job? Urza asked. Huh? Natsu questioned. With Gray and Lucy, too, of course. And Oni-chan as well. Urza said. Huh? Gray questioned in a little hint of fear, now only in his boxers. Wah? Lucy questioned. Where are your clothes, Gray? Mira asked, to which Gray looked down at himself with shock. It feels like we've always been together since the Eisenwald incident. Plus I have always been with Oni-chan on jobs before. Urza said. Feels like it. She noticed only now. Wakaba questioned. It was obvious to pretty much anyone. Was she not paying any attention? Macau questioned. That's Urza for you. Kana laughed. What do you say we form an actual team? It'll be the 5 of us. Oh, 6, counting Happy. Urza said, ignoring the comments from earlier. This was much to Lucy's joy, but suddenly she grew a little depressed. But are you sure you want someone like me? Not like you. We want you specifically. Natsu said. Happy agreed. It just wouldn't be the same without you, you know. Natsu said with a huge grin. Then it's official, with Itachi on the team, there's no doubt. Say hello to the strongest team in Fairy Tail. Kana cheered. This is great. Macau said. But is Lucy actually that tough? Wakaba questioned. I don't think I'd stand a chance if she sicked Aquarius on me. Alzak shuddered. She's got a sharp mouth, too. Droy said. She's the best in many different ways. Jet smiled. Me. Teamed with him. Natsu and Gray said in unison while staring at each other. Have a problem with that? Urza questioned in a scary tone. No. We're ecstatic. Natsu and Gray replied in unison out of fear. I have a job already lined up. We're to defeat a magic cult secretly operating in the town of Lupinas. Let's go, Urza said. Aye. They replied in unison. Let's go, Oni-chan. Urza said, excited to go on a job with Itachi like the old days. Sorry, I'll pass. Itachi turned the offer down. What? Urza questioned with a depressed comical expression. I'm not saying I don't want to be a part of the team, but I just got back from a 2-year-long mission. I think I should rest a little before going on a new job. Itachi said with his usual smile. No way, I was looking forward to it and everything. Urza said with a pout. Itachi poked Urza's forehead. Sorry Urza, maybe next time. You promise? Urza questioned. I promise. Itachi said, feeling a little guilty at the fact that there might not be a next time. Okay, Oni-chan, Urza said and left with Natsu, Gray, Lucy and Happy. She still acts like a kid around you, doesn't she? Mira said with an amused smile. Yeah, well, I don't really mind. She and I have a lot of history. Itachi said. What's on the menu? Whatever you want, cutie. Mira replied. Then how about one of those delicious lunch boxes you used to make for me? Itachi said, making Mira blush a little. Sure, I'll make one for you right away. Mira said and began to cook. Once Mira was finished, Itachi opened the box and saw egg rolls, fried chicken and rice that had the word, welcome back, on it. I never said this when you first arrived, but, welcome home. Itachi smiled a little. Yeah, I'm home. Oh, you guys sure are acting like a married couple already. Wakaba teased. That's for sure. When were you going to tell us? Kana also teased. It's not like that. Mira shouted with a small blush. Oh, you're blushing, you're blushing. Kana teased Mira even further. Shut up. Mira shouted, still blushing, while Itachi simply ignored them. Thanks for the meal. Itachi thanked and began eating. Time skip. It was the middle of the night and Master Makarov was drinking some beer while sitting on the top of the construction area for the new guild hall. Retirement? Huh, the guild is being rebuilt. Perhaps it's also time to pass the title of master to the next generation. Laxus, he has deep-seated issues. And Mistogen is basically the poster boy for poor communication. And then there's Itachi, he is the perfect candidate in every single way. If only he wasn't dying of a sickness. Which would leave Urza, who's still rather young. There you are, master. Mira's voice was heard as Makarov looked down to see the white-haired barmaid. It sounds like they did it again. Huh? Makarov questioned. It sounds like Urza's team destroyed half of the town their job was at. Mira said with her usual smile, but the news made Makarov pale like a ghost. The council already demands a written apology. Huh? What's wrong, master? I can't afford to retire. Makarov shouted into the night sky. Oh, my, Mira said with a chuckle before walking away. It seems my little sister is being a handful. Itachi said, standing behind a pillar that was behind Makarov. Promise me, when you begin to go on jobs with them, to at least contain the destruction so that I won't have to go to an early grave. Makarov said. With those guys, I think it will be mostly impossible. Besides, at your age at this point, if you die, you would have lived a long life. Itachi said with a small chuckle. Unlike you. Makarov said in a sad tone. Quote, you're only 21 and you're already dying, yet an old man like me is still alive. The world can be so unfair. Makarov said, looking into the night sky. I actually died a 21-year-old man in my old world too. Itachi said. You're such a kind and gentle soul, Itachi. From the moment I saw you, I thought you would be the next guild master. But I guess fate has something else in mind. Makarov said, clenching his fist a little in anger. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. I would have turned the offer down regardless of my condition. Itachi said. What happened to the last herb? The one you couldn't find? Makarov asked. I went to the field where they were supposed to be, only to find the field to be burned out. Itachi replied. Burned out? How? Makarov questioned. Believe it or not, but the locals said it was a dragon. Itachi replied as the wind blew powerfully around them and everything else got silent. A dragon? Did you tell Natsu about this? Makarov questioned. I asked the locals what this dragon looked like. And they said it was a black-winged dragon with some blue markings on its body. Itachi replied. Well, at least it wasn't Natsu's dragon. But why would he burn out that field? Makarov questioned. I have no idea, but apparently that flower may exist somewhere else. Once I get my medicine from Perliuzica, I will go out and look for it. Itachi said. I still think you should ask the others for help. You can't do everything on your own. Makarov reminded Itachi of his own words, what he once said to a certain blonde shinobi. Using my own words against me now, master? Itachi questioned. If it will make you accept the others' help, then yes. Makarov replied. I have help. I have you, Perliuzica, Mistogan and everyone else here at the guild to cheer me up. Itachi said. In a case like this, my boy, I think you're going to need more help than that. Makarov argued. I'll work something out. For now, there's no need for the others to know. Itachi said and vanished. Forget about all the destruction reports. It's that boy that will worry me to death. Makarov said and looked up to the night sky before taking another sip of his beer. Time skip. A play. Urza, Natsu, Gray and Lucy will be in a play. Itachi questioned sitting at the bar counter talking to Mira. Yes, their other job didn't go so well, so I gave Lucy an easy one. Mira replied with her usual smile. Urza, Natsu and Gray in a play. How do you not see the problem of that? Itachi asked. What do you mean? Mira questioned. Urza is so nervous in front of a crowd that she will most likely forget all her lines. Gray will not be able to wear any of the costumes and end up stripping in front of everyone watching, and Natsu can't go for a second without destroying anything. Itachi replied with his deadpan expression. Oh come on, it will be fun. Mira said with a pleading smile for Itachi to come along. You still have a little bit of demon in you, I see. Itachi commented. Come on, don't you want to see your cute little sister in a play? Mira asked. If I did show up and everything got destroyed, she would feel so embarrassed and go on like this. I have brought shame upon you, Oni-chan. Or something like that, and she would beg me to hit her for her stupidity. Itachi replied. So in other words, you're not going? Mira questioned. Oh, no, I'm going. Itachi replied. A few hours later, the theater was reduced to rubble at the end of their performance. And everything went exactly as Itachi said it would. The only thing he didn't count on was that the audience actually liked it. Well, things didn't go quite as I expected, but I was mostly right. Itachi said, laying in the rubble with Mira and several others. Oh my, Mira said with her usual smile and chuckle. Why does this keep happening? Makarov questioned, also laying in the rubble. Maki, hurry up and retire. Yujima said while laying in the rubble next to Makarov. Oni-chan, please hit me. Urza said, popping her head out from the rubble. Told you. Itachi said, looking at Mira, who just let out a nervous laugh. Time skip. It's over. At this rate I won't be able to pay my rent. Lucy cried on the bar counter. Is it really that bad? Mira asked. Natsu and Gray destroy everything in their path, and don't even get me started with Urza. Lucy cried. I'm sure things will work out somehow. Mira assured her with a nervous smile. With those three things never work out the way it's supposed. Lucy squealed when a kunai hit the counter right next to her, and it had a job request attached to it. What the hell? I could have been killed. Lucy shouted. You want to earn money enough to pay your rent, right? Itachi questioned, now standing behind the blonde celestial wizard. What's this? Lucy questioned and looked at the job request attached to the kunai. Take out a group of bandits, reward 200,000 jewels. You, me, Urza, Natsu, Gray and Happy will go on this job. Itachi simply said before walking away. Meet us by the Magnolia train station in 1 hour. Hey wait, Lucy shouted, but to no avail. Looks like you've been chosen for a test. Mira said with a chuckle. A test? Lucy questioned. Itachi tends to take new members of the guild on a job to see what they're capable of. Mira replied. Really? Lucy questioned. I remember when he took me on a job, it was awesome. He was so cool. Mira said, remembering the first job Itachi took her on, which was an S-class job. He didn't destroy the town that sent the request, did he? Lucy asked, hoping that Itachi wouldn't be like Urza, Natsu and Gray. No, but he did end up destroying a good part of the forest where that monster was. Mira replied. What kind of job was this? Lucy asked. An S-class job. Mira replied with her usual carefree smile. S-class? Lucy questioned in shock. An hour later. Magnolia train station. Everyone was waiting for the train to arrive despite Natsu's constant protest. Urza was showing stars in her eyes at the fact that she got to go on a job with her big brother. On the train, Natsu suffered from motion sickness as always, and Itachi was going over the plan. Okay, the bandits' lair is in a castle a few miles from the train station we will be exiting. Now we want to end this as quickly as possible, and since no one owns that castle ever since it was taken over by the bandits, you're free to destroy the entire thing if you want. As for how we're going to split the reward, I suggest Lucy gets the most since you three have ruined every single job she has been on. Itachi said, much to Lucy's joy. Hey, that's not fair. Gray protested. No fair. Happy agreed. Happy isn't getting anything from the reward. Itachi said. What, why? Happy asked. You and Natsu live together. You fish after all your meals and you don't wear clothes. In other words, you don't need it. Itachi bluntly stated. No fair. Happy whined. Do you have a problem with my Oni-chan's orders? Urza asked in a scary tone, holding out a sword. No. Happy shouted in fear. Good. Urza said and put her sword away. Now Lucy will get 50,000. Gray will get 40,000, same as Urza and Natsu, and I will get 30,000. Itachi said, to which they all agreed. By the way, Urza, where do you live now? Fairy Hills. I had to get a new place to live since you sold our old apartment. Urza replied. Well, it's good that you've found a place of your own. Itachi said. Where do you live then? Urza asked. Nowhere. Itachi replied. What? You must have a place to live. I know. Come and live with me. Urza said. No more, like demanded. Fairy Hills is for girls only. Besides, I will find a place of my own. Itachi said, turning down Urza's offer. Then I will come and live with you. Urza demanded. No, you're fine where you live now. Besides, it's good for you to be more independent. Itachi again turned Urza down. Once they arrived, they walked over to the castle where the bandits were. Natsu wanted to charge in the front door, but Itachi dragged him into a bush along with the others. I want to rampage on them, come on. Natsu complained. We should sneak in and attack them quietly from the inside first before we rampage. Itachi said. Well, Itachi's strategy is better, and that way we'll at least be done faster. Gray said, not noticing a certain blue-haired rain woman hiding behind a tree looking at him. But I wanna beat them all up. Natsu complained. Oh come on Natsu, don't you want to go in stealthy like a ninja? Itachi asked, knowing what was going to happen. Ninja? Natsu questioned with stars in his eyes. Yes, ninjas. Itachi said. And what do ninjas do? They attack quietly. Ninja. Natsu said, now with his scarf wrapped around his face like a mask. Ninja. Happy said, standing back to back with Natsu. Okay then. Itachi said and looked at the castle. We will sneak in through that window and take out anyone that gets in our way, but quietly. We don't want anyone to escape. Itachi ordered. Lucy, Urza, you will wait by the front door until you get the signal, then you will burst in and take those who are left out. What signal? Lucy questioned. Let's just say the bandits will be wondering why 3 strangers and a blue cat are in there. Itachi said as he raised his hand. Go. Itachi lowered his hand and vanished at high speed, moving up the wall of the castle towards the window. Let's go, Happy, like ninjas. Natsu said with his hands in a hand sign. Ninjas. Happy said and lifted Natsu, flying towards the window. Gray used his ice magic to make a ladder and climbed towards the window. While Urza and Lucy went on standby at the front door, Itachi jumped in through the window first and saw that most bandits were gathered downstairs having a party, while some of them were on the second floor having a few drinks. At the top floor there weren't any. Okay, let's go, Itachi whispered to Natsu, Happy and Gray as they climbed in the window. Shadow clone. Itachi made 10 shadow clones of himself. You all know what to do? Itachi asked his clones, to which they all nodded, and then they vanished. Alright, first we have my clones secure any escape route the bandits can take, then we charge at the group on the first floor. At that point Urza and Lucy will join the party. A crow then flew in from the window and landed on Itachi's shoulder. Is everything set? Itachi asked the crow, to which it nodded. Okay then, let's go, Itachi said as he jumped down to the first floor. Ninja style. Natsu shouted, gaining the bandits' attention. Let's go. Gray jumped down as well. Happy said and flew after them. Who the hell are you guys? A bandit shouted, then was kicked in the face by Itachi. The front door then busted open with a bull holding an axe. Let's go, Taurus, Lucy said as the bull charged. Moo. My pleasure, Lucy. Taurus charged at the bandits, knocking several of them out. We are from Fairy Tail. Urza shouted and charged at the group of bandits. Fire Dragon. Roar. Natsu breathed out a wave of flames, blowing up a large area of the castle. Ice make. Cannon. Gray made a cannon out of ice and blasted a wave of bandits with it. Itachi leapt in the air and threw several kunai with paper bomb tags attached to them. Later the whole castle had been reduced to cinders and ash, the bandits had been captured. In the end they destroyed the castle. Lucy said, looking at the rubble. Just give up about not wanting them to destroy things on jobs, it's going to happen regardless. So my advice for the future, pick jobs that require them to fight from the get-go. Itachi said as he gathered the reward money from a leader of the village the bandits have been robbing. Itachi then went over to Lucy, Natsu, Urza, Gray and Happy. Lucy, here's your part of the reward, here's yours Urza, Gray, Natsu and Happy. And this is mine, Itachi said, handing out everyone's share of the reward. Is it okay for you to take so little compared to the rest of us? Lucy asked. Don't worry, I already gained a large reward for my 2-year-long mission, I don't really need anything else. In fact, you guys can have my share if you want. Itachi offered. No, we would feel bad if you didn't get your share of the reward. The job was your idea and it was your plan. Lucy said. Arg, I haven't rampaged enough. Natsu said, still wanting to fight. No, you've already done enough. Gray said, not noticing the blue-haired rain woman staring at him from behind a rock. No, I haven't. Natsu shouted, then locked his eyes on Itachi. Itachi, fight me. Natsu charged at Itachi with his fist covered in flames. Itachi turned around and punched Natsu with the back of his hand, knocking the pink-haired dragon slayer out. Huh, isn't that Loki? Happy questioned, spotting the guild's famous playboy. Huh, Loki questioned, a little surprised to run into them like this. What a coincidence. You have work out here? Natsu asked. Yeah, you guys too. Gah, Lucy. Loki began to back away a little as Lucy approached him. Perfect timing. I wanted to thank you for finding. Well, I got work to do. Bye, Loki said and ran away as fast as he could. What was his deal? Lucy questioned with a sigh. What did you do to him? Gray questioned. He's avoiding you like crazy. Natsu said. I didn't do anything. Lucy shouted. Itachi looked at his crow. Go, Itachi said, and the crow flew in Loki's direction. Loki was resting under a tree. He picked up a flower that all of a sudden died out the moment he picked it up. Problem. Itachi's voice was heard. Loki turned to the source to spot the one person in the guild that actually rivaled his charms when it came to ladies. What do you want? Loki questioned. Simple. I want to know what you are. Itachi replied. What do you mean? I'm Loki, just Loki. Loki replied, looking a little nervous. So it's only coincidence that you have similar energy signatures to celestial spirits? Itachi questioned. Wow, what do you mean? Loki questioned, pretending to not know what Itachi was talking about. My eyes can see magic power as colors, and I can't help but notice that yours is similar to Lucis celestial spirits. There's no use trying to hide it. Itachi said. Fine, I'm a celestial spirit. Loki admitted. Then why are you here and not in the celestial spirit world? Itachi questioned. I broke a rule, so I can't go back, Loki said. So you're slowly dying, correct? Itachi asked. Can you see that too? Loki questioned. No, just a theory I had which you just confirmed. Itachi replied. Hey, Laxus was right, you really are a sneaky one. Loki said with a weak chuckle. So, let me guess, the rule you broke involves your former celestial wizard, hence you're afraid of getting near Lucy. Itachi said, to which Loki nodded. I see. I just have one thing to say to you. Quote, trust more in your friends. Itachi said and vanished in a pack of crows. Meanwhile, back with the others. Well, guess we should head home. Gray said. Say, since we finished our job early and all, what do you say we take it easy at a spa? Lucy suggested. Lucy. Urza said, which made Natsu, Gray and Lucy pale. Why yes, Lucy said out of fear. That's a great idea, Urza said, to which the pale gang let out a sigh of relief. Time skip. At the spa, Itachi took a nice relaxing bath in the hot springs. This is a nice feeling. Incoming, Natsu shouted. Happy shouted as they both cannonballed into the water. And the relaxation is over, Itachi said with a deadpan expression as water spurted in his face. It's hot, Gray complained. Guess a hot spring isn't the ideal relaxation for an ice mage. Itachi said. Yeah, this is torture. Gray said as Natsu and Happy simply had their super fun time. So I've been meaning to ask, what did you do for 2 years? Mostly herb hunting for Perliuzica. That and some training, Itachi replied. Learned anything new? Gray questioned. Actually yes, I've learned how to combine a few elements together, making something new. Although I'm not that skilled at it yet. Itachi replied. Oh, can you give me a hint? Gray asked. Let's just say if I combine my water style techniques with my wind style I get ice. And if I combine water with earth I get wood style. Itachi replied. Oh, so you've learned some ice techniques. Show me. Gray said. I'm much better at using wood style, but I guess I can show you one little thing. Itachi said as he focused his energy into his palm and formed an ice needle. It's not much, but I don't want to destroy this place so, Itachi said and threw the ice needle into a tree just like a kunai. Well, at least you've gotten stronger. Do you think you're stronger than Gildarts now? Gray asked with a smirk. I don't know, maybe I will test him once he gets back. Then again, 100 years is a long time. Itachi said. He said he would finish after 3 years though, and it's been 3 years, he could be back at any moment. Gray said. I wonder if that's enough time. Itachi muttered as he felt a stabbing pain in his chest, but he kept his calm expression up regardless. Did you say something? Gray asked. No, it's nothing, Itachi replied. After the bath they went into the rooms. Let's get started, Natsu said holding a pillow. Uppa, Happy said also holding a pillow. What's all the ruckus? I'm sleepy here, Gray said. I agree, I'm sleepy as well, Itachi said already laying in his futon. Come on, man, look. This is an inn. You gotta have a pillow beating if you're staying at an inn. Natsu pointed out. You mean a pillow fight? Gray said. Who would be stupid enough for that? Itachi muttered. I've seized all the superior quality pillows, Urza said entering the room with Lucy. Superior quality? Lucy questioned. And there's my answer, Itachi muttered. You're going down, Urza. Natsu shouted and threw a pillow. Sheesh, Gray said when Urza, who was in front of him, dodged Natsu's pillow so that it hit Gray in the face. Damn it, Natsu, Gray shouted, then spotted a pile of pillows next to him. Oh, where did these pillows come from? Better question is, how did she steal mine when I was sleeping on it? Itachi questioned, spotting Juvia, who was hiding behind a rock with a pillow in her arm. Gray then threw a pillow, hitting Natsu directly in the face. You're next, Urza. Gray threw the pillow but Urza simply caught it. Not bad, Urza complimented. All right, maybe I should join in, Lucy said as 3 pillows hit her in the face. They kept throwing pillows at each other, then suddenly, Natsu threw a pillow at Gray, who dodged it, then the pillow hit Itachi in the face, making Natsu, Gray, Happy, even Urza sweat a little as Itachi sat up with the pillow on his face. As the pillow slowly slid off his face, it revealed his annoyed expression. This made Natsu, Gray, Happy, even Urza shake in fear. Sleep now, Itachi ordered. Why yes, the 4 of them shouted in unison. Time skip. Back at the guild hall, Natsu and Gray were covered in some bandages as they both stared each other down, revealing a menacing vibe around them. What's with them? Elfman questioned. Apparently they got hurt during a pillow fight after work, Mira replied in her usual smile and carefree expression. How can a pillow fight cause such serious injuries? Elfman questioned. It wasn't the pillows, Itachi commented. Because you were so worked up during the pillow fight, Itachi got mad at us, and look what happened. Gray shouted. You gave it your all to Snow Princess. Natsu shouted back. Yeah, well, you threw the pillow at him. Gray shouted back. I threw it at you, you dodged it. Natsu shouted back. Doesn't matter because I totally won that pillow fight anyway. Gray shouted. Huh, I won, you stripping pervert. Natsu shouted. Lucy, I won, didn't I? They both turned towards the blonde celestial mage. Shut up, Lucy said in a pissed off tone, scaring Gray and Natsu. We're sorry, they both apologized in unison. Wow, I thought Urza and Itachi were the only people who could stop those two, Mira said with surprise in her voice. She's a real man, Elfman commented. She can't be a real man if she's a girl, Itachi corrected. Hey, is Loki here? A group of girls came up to the counter asking Mira. Where is he? Loki is just terrible, another girl said. Who are all of you? One of the girls questioned. No, who are you? Another girl retorted. Loki, where are you? What's going on? Lucy questioned. They're girls from the town. It sounds like they each think they're Loki's girlfriend. Happy replied. He suddenly wanted to break up last night. I hate to admit it, but me too. Same here, me too. Why would he suddenly do this? I'm not sure, Mira replied nervously. Did he suddenly find his true love? No, Mira said, but was bombarded with another question. Who is she? Is she in this guild? Lucy, help. Mira begged for help, which made the girls turn their attention towards her. Who's she? A girl questioned in anger. She's kind of cute, another girl said in jealousy. She's got huge boobs, another girl said with jealousy. I bet she's Loki's true love. Ard, don't dump me into such a complicated mess. Mira, Lucy shouted and ran away. Now relax girls, I'm sure Loki will be here any minute, just calm down, Itachi said, trying to calm them down. The girls turned their attention towards him and instantly gained hearts in their eyes. Hey, who are you? Are you new in this guild? One of the girls asked now that they had all surrounded Itachi. No. I've just been gone on a job for a while. Itachi replied, beginning to feel uncomfortable. Oh, you must be very strong for being gone so long. One of the girls that was hugging his arm questioned. Well yeah, Itachi simply said. Hey, want to go somewhere and have fun? One of the girls asked. I'm kind of busy, Itachi said. Hey, come on, just a little fun. The girls all said in unison. Hey, what's your name? Itachi Uchiha, Itachi replied as Mira began to look annoyed at this scene. Ah, what a manly name. Can I call you Itachi? Can I too? Me too. Yeah, can we? The girls asked. Itachi didn't know how to respond. Later, Itachi said as he vanished in a puff of smoke. Where did he go? Itachi come back. The girls said and began to run outside to look for him. They're gone, Mira said as Itachi's head popped out from behind the counter. That was close, Itachi said with a sweat drop. Time skip. The night had come and Itachi was in the park when suddenly the hooded figure known as Mistogen showed up. You wanted to talk? Mistogen asked. Yeah, I did, Itachi replied. Is this about your cure? Mistogen questioned. No, I wanted to ask you about something else. Itachi replied. What? Mistogen asked. Anima. Any news on it? Itachi asked. Not yet. Why do you ask? Mistogen questioned. Quote. It's about her, right? Mistogen stated. Lizana. Itachi simply said. I will admit it's true, the way you described what happened to her sounds like anima. But it's a good chance that it isn't. Mistogen said. But it's the best information we've got. Itachi said. What do you even plan to do if I tell you where it will appear next? Mistogen questioned. What else? I plan to go in there, grab Lizana, and get out. Itachi replied. It's not that easy. Mistogen said. I never said it would be easy. Itachi snapped back. Shouldn't you focus on your cure for now? Instead of going after Lizana, who could already have been killed in Edalis for all we know. Mistogen said. None of us are going to find the last herb. So let's face it, I'm a dead man walking. The least I could do is bring Lizana back before I die. Itachi said and looked up into the night sky. You shouldn't give up just like that, there's still a good chance that we can find it. Mistogen pleaded. Mistogen, in my first year of that trip, I had already gathered the herbs I have now given Perliuzica. You know what that means? Itachi asked. Quote. I searched a whole year to find that last herb, and I couldn't find it. It doesn't exist anymore in this world. Itachi said. I will use the medicine that Perliuzica is making to buy me some time, once I find Lizana and bring her back. I will most likely die. Itachi said as a leaf blew from the wind into his hand. At least my final act will be a good one. Itachi said when suddenly they heard people from their guild in the distance shouting for Loki. Seems our guild's playboy has left the guild. Do you intend to look for him? Mistogen asked. Nah, it's not my place, besides there's only one girl that can help him now. Itachi said with a smile as the leaf blew out from his hand. Thanks for the talk, let me know when you learn of Anima's next location. I will, Mistogen said as he vanished. Guess I should go and watch the aftermath of the show. Itachi said and vanished as well. Itachi leapt on some trees and eventually landed on a tree branch. He looked down and saw Loki and Lucy standing on a cliff with a waterfall surrounding. In front of them was a grave that had the blue Pegasus Guild mark on it. And with the name, Karen, engraved on it. So this is his former owner's grave. He's the celestial spirit Leo the Lion. So his master died, and for some reason he acts like it's his fault, and that's why he's afraid of getting close to any other celestial wizard. Itachi said to himself. That is the crime I committed. Once a person's life is lost, it can never be recovered. When someone dies, they're gone forever. The only way for me to atone is to disappear forever too. Itachi could hear Loki's words to Lucy. Suddenly Loki fell down and began looking transparent. Loki. Hey. Lucy went over to Loki's side. I guess it's here, Loki said weakly. What is? Lucy questioned. The time for me to be no more, Loki replied. What are you saying? Lucy questioned. I've been unable to return to the spirit world ever since that day, Loki said as his hands looked like they were about to vanish. Why your hands? Lucy said in a worried tone. This is basic principle of the spirit world. It's a rule, there's nothing that can be done. Karen's never left my thoughts since that day. I tried all sorts of things to distract myself, but I was never able to forget. I lived each and every day waiting for this moment, the moment I ceased to exist in front of Karen's grave, and now the time has finally come, but, in the very end I was able to meet a wonderful celestial wizard like you. Thank you, Lucy, Loki said, ready to embrace death. Wait, I will save you. Don't give up, Lucy shouted. As things are now, she's the only one who can save him, Itachi thought, continuing to watch the scene. Take care of everyone in Fairy Tail for me, as Loki gave his final wish. No, Lucy hit her fist into the ground. Lucy, Loki said weakly. I refuse to accept this. If you can just get back to the spirit world, you can recover your life force in no time. I will send you back there, Lucy declared. You can't. Rules are rules, Loki uttered weakly. But, this isn't right. You didn't kill Karen. It was just an unfortunate accident, Lucy said and hugged Loki. Lucy, open, Gate of the Lion. Let Loki back into the celestial spirit world. Open, please, open, Lucy begged. Lucy, it's okay, stop, Loki begged. It's not okay, Lucy argued. I can't just ignore a friend and let him disappear before my very eyes, Lucy said as suddenly a large amount of light energy appeared around them. Open, Gate of the Lion. Lucy, you can't use that much magic all at once, Loki shouted desperately. I told you, I will save you. I will force the celestial spirit door open, Lucy said. Stop, Loki begged. Open, Gate of the Lion. Open, Lucy shouted as more magic power was released. Her magic power, maybe almost as great as Urza's and Mira's, Itachi muttered, watching the release of magic power from Lucy. It won't open. Spirits who've caused a contract holder's death can't return to the spirit world. Stop. You're starting to assimilate with me. You'll disappear too if you don't stop now, Loki warned as Lucy looked like she was about to disappear as well. You're not going to die. I won't let you. What's the point of magic if you can't use it to protect your friends? Lucy said. Stop. Don't make my crime even worse, Loki pleaded. How is this a crime? If that's the rule of the spirit world, then I'm gonna change it, Lucy shouted when suddenly a force of power pushed them away from each other. The waterfall began flowing upwards as a large hole opened in the sky, letting out a huge light. What is that? Lucy questioned. No, it can't be. The Celestial Spirit King, Loki questioned in shock at a giant humanoid spirit clad in full set of plate armor, and he had a ridiculous long thick white mustache that honestly looked like nose hair. Huh, Lucy questioned. So that's the Celestial Spirit King? Itachi questioned to himself as he remained hidden. What's he doing here? Loki questioned in confusion. King, meaning he's the most powerful of the spirits? Lucy questioned. Old friend, the Celestial Spirit King spoke. Under our agreement with humans, taking life of a key holder is forbidden. Although it was not by direct involvement, you did commit this act, Leo the Lion. Therefore, you are not allowed to return to the celestial spirit world. Hold on, don't you think that's a bit unfair? Lucy questioned the Spirit King. Stop, Lucy, Loki warned. Old friend, human girl, that law is immutable, the Spirit King said. So he's here because she said she was going to change the rule? Itachi questioned, continuing to watch in hiding. 3 years. Loki has suffered for 3 long years. He did it for Ares. One of his own. He had no choice, Lucy pointed out. Hearing my old friend's wish pains me greatly as well, the Spirit King said. Don't be stupid. He's not an old friend. He's a friend standing in front of you right now. Listen for a change, you old mustache man, Lucy shouted, making Loki shudder. Although they didn't see it, it made Itachi snicker a little. Mustache, the Spirit King questioned. Lucy, Loki said. This was an unfortunate accident. Loki wasn't at fault. I won't accept anything but an innocent verdict. I refuse to accept anything else, Lucy shouted. That's enough, Lucy. I don't want anyone's forgiveness. I just want to atone for my crime. I just want to cease to exist, Loki shouted as tears ran down his cheeks. You can't, Lucy shouted as she let out a huge amount of magic power that even surprised the Spirit King. You disappearing won't bring Karen back. It'll only cause even more sadness. It isn't a crime. Caring for your own isn't a crime, Lucy shouted as all her celestial spirits appeared behind her. If you cease to be, you only leave me, Ares, and everyone here with even more sorrow to bear. That won't atone for anything, Lucy said as her spirits vanished and she passed out. Lucy, Loki said. Lucy then struggled to get back up. All my friends who showed themselves just now feel the same way, Lucy said. Friends? Loki questioned. If you're a spirit, then you understand how Loki and Ares feel too, Lucy said to the Spirit King. Lucy, you're being too reckless. Are you trying to make the same mistake Karen did? Loki questioned. If you will go to such lengths to say this, then perhaps it is the law that is wrong. Leo, you committed this crime for Ares, one of your brethren, and you, old friend who tried to save Leo, out of consideration for that beautiful bond, I hereby make an exception for this incident and grant you, Leo, return passage to the celestial spirit world. The celestial spirit king granted. You're not bad after all, old mustache man. Lucy said with a smile which the spirit king returned. You are exonerated. Be grateful for the guidance of the stars. The celestial spirit king said and began to vanish. Please wait, Loki begged. If you still wish to atone for what you have done, then I order you to live your life serving your friend. She is that valuable of a friend to have. Protect her with your life. The celestial spirit king said as the hole in the sky vanished and the waterfall began flowing down once more. There you have it, Lucy said. Lucy. Loki said as tears ran down his face. Yeah. Lucy grabbed Loki's hand. Thank you, Lucy. Loki vanished back into the spirit world and now Lucy had gained a new golden key. Guess that's that, Itachi said and began walking back to the guild. Just like I thought, only a celestial wizard can save a celestial spirit. Itachi said. After some walking Itachi arrived back into the town and was now outside of the guild hall, where Mira, Natsu and Gray were gathered. Itachi, Loki's gone, have you seen him? Mira asked. Yeah, he's with Lucy. He's fine, Itachi replied and walked into the construction area of the new guild hall. They will be here any moment now, so let's go inside and wait. Later on when Lucy arrived, Loki came out from the celestial spirit world. A celestial spirit? Natsu questioned in shock. You are? Gray questioned. Yep. That's right, Loki replied. Ah, so that's why everything felt off when we switched places before. Natsu said as he inspected Loki. Yep. Loki said. I had no idea at all, Gray said. But how come you're not a cow, or a horse or anything? Natsu questioned. You know Virgo. She has a human form too. Loki replied as an image of a maid with short pink hair and blue eyes came to mind. No, she can turn into a gorilla too. Natsu said. Oh, yeah, you're right. Loki said. Loki is the lion spirit. Lucy explained. Lion? Natsu questioned. A grown-up cat, Happy said. That's right, Loki confirmed. No, it isn't, Lucy corrected. So cool, Happy said now on Loki's shoulder. But are you in good enough shape to be here? Gray questioned. I'm not in tip-top shape yet, but I wanted to come say hello. Plus, I couldn't wait to see Lucy again. Loki said as Lucy gained a small blush. In Louvre, Happy teased. Don't talk like that, Lucy said in an annoyed tone. Now then, let's discuss our future together. Loki smiled, carrying Lucy out in bridal style despite her struggling. Hey, let me down, Lucy protested. She's so lucky. I wish I had a celestial spirit too. Natsu said. What kind? Happy questioned. A dragon of course. I could try out my dragon slayer magic on it. Natsu replied. You don't call celestial spirits to test your strength on them. Lucy scolded having escaped Loki's arms. You're right. They're for talking about love. Loki now had his arm wrapped around Lucy's shoulder. You should go now. You're not at full health yet, remember? Lucy reminded. Just a minute. Loki brought out 5 tickets and gave them to Lucy. What are these? Lucy questioned. Tickets to a resort hotel. You did so much for me, so, Loki said. The beach. Lucy said in excitement. Oh, Natsu said holding his ticket. Fish. Happy cheered. I've never stayed in such an expensive hotel. Gray said holding his ticket. A vacation might not be a bad idea. Itachi said holding his ticket. I gave one to Urza too. Go enjoy yourselves. Loki said gleefully. All of you. What are you loitering for? Do you want to be left behind? Urza asked having already packed and even wearing her beach outfit, which consisted of a blue Hawaiian shirt, a light blue straw hat, hot pants, and a floating ring. Talk about fast. Gray and Lucy shouted in unison. All right, let's go. I'm ready to go right now. Natsu said. Same here, Happy said. You idiots. I need to pack first. Gray said. Lucy. The fact that I committed a crime hasn't changed, but you've given me the courage to move forward. I'm a member of Fairy Tail, but I'm your celestial spirit, first and foremost. You're my owner. I'll be there for you whenever you're in trouble. You can rely on me to be your knight in shining armor. Loki proclaimed proudly. I'm not your owner. I'm your friend. Lucy corrected. Yeah, I'm glad to be working with you, Lucy. Loki said and vanished into the spirit world. I'm glad to be working with you too, Loki. Lucy replied. We're about to leave, Lucy. Urza informed. You know, Urza, if I ever caused one of us to get hurt or lose their life, I think I would suffer like Loki did too. But there's nothing to worry about, is there? If we all work together, we can overcome any tough situation, can't we? Lucy said. That's well said, Urza said with a smile. Come on, already, let's get going, Natsu said. Aye, sir. Happy agreed. We're gonna have so much fun, a day or two won't be enough. Gray said. All right, it was kind of Loki to do this. Let's have lots of fun. Urza said. Aye, sir. They cheered. Itachi stood in the corner with a handkerchief in his hand as he brought it up to his face. Cough, cough. Itachi coughed into the handkerchief, and when he looked at it, he saw stains of blood. Let's go, Oni-chan, Urza said, gaining Itachi's attention. Yeah, coming, Itachi said as he threw the handkerchief in the garbage can. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.